Hi, everybody. It's Program Ranger Shea with Capital Area Council Boy Scouts of America here at beautiful Camp Tom Wooten in Bastrop, Texas. I am here to read you a story today at our Indian village about the legend of the bluebonnet. Now, the bluebonnet is the Texas state flower, and in the spring, as you're driving along the road, you will see fields and fields of beautiful bluebonnets. This is the legend of how the bluebonnets came to be. Great spirits, the land is dying. Your people are dying too. The long line of dancers sang, "Tell us what we have done to anger you. End this drought. Save our people. Tell us what we must do to send the rain that will bring back life." For 3 days, the dancers danced to the sound of the drums. And for 3 days, the people called Comanche watched and waited. And even though the hard winter was over, the healing rains never came. Drought and famine are the hardest on the very young and the very old. Among the few children left was a small girl named She who is alone. She sat by herself watching the dancers. In her lap was a doll made of buckskin, a warrior doll. The eyes and nose and mouth were painted with the juice of berries. It wore beaded leggings and a belt of polished bone. On its head were brilliant blue feathers from the bird who cries, "Jay, Jay, Jay." She loved her doll very much. "Soon," she who is alone said to her doll, "the shaman will go off alone to the top of the hill and listen to the words of the Great Spirit. Then we will know what we are to do, that once more the rains will come and the earth will be green and alive, the buffalo will be plentiful and the people will be rich again." As she talked, she thought about her mother who had made the doll, of the father who had brought the blue feathers. She thought of her grandfather and grandmother she had never known. They were all like shadows. It seemed long ago that they had died from the famine. The people had named her and cared for her. The warrior doll was the only thing she had left from those distant days. "The sun is setting," a runner called. As he ran through the camp, "The shaman is returning." The people gathered in a circle, and the shaman spoke. "I have heard the words of the Great Spirit," he said. "The people have become selfish. For years they have taken from the earth without giving anything back. The Great Spirits say the people must sacrifice. They must make a burnt offering of the most valued possession among us. The ashes of this offering shall then be scattered to the 4 points of the earth, the home of the winds. When this sacrifice is made, drought and famine will cease. Life will be restored to the earth and to the people." The people sang a song of thanks to the Great Spirits for telling them what they must do. "I am sure it's not my new bow that the Great Spirit wants," a warrior said. "Or my special blanket," a woman added, as everyone went to their teepees to talk and think over what the Great Spirits had asked. Everyone, that is, except she who is alone. She held her doll tightly to her heart. "You," she said, looking at the doll, "you are my most valued possession. It is you the Great Spirits want." And she knew what she must do. As the council fires died away and the teepee flaps began to close, the small girl returned to the teepee, where she slept to wait. The night outside was still, except for the distant sound of the night bird with the red wings. Soon everyone in the teepee was asleep, except who is alone. Under the ashes of the teepee fire, one stick still glowed. She took it and quickly crept out into the night. She ran to the place on the hill where the great spirits had spoken to the shaman. Stars filled the sky, but there was no moon. "Oh, great spirits," she who was alone said, "here is my warrior doll. It is the only thing I have from my family who died in this family. It is my most valued possession. Please accept it." Then, gathering twigs, she started a fire from the glowing fire stick. The small girl watched as the twigs began to catch and burn. She thought of her grandfather and grandmother, her mother and father, and all the people, their suffering and their hunger. And before she could change her mind, she thrust the doll into the fire. She watched until the flames died down and the ashes had grown cold. Then she scooped up a handful. She who was alone scattered the ashes to the home of the winds, the north and the east, the south and the west. And there she fell asleep until the first light of morning sun woke her. She looked out over the hill and stretched out from all sides where the ashes had fallen. The ground was covered with flowers, beautiful flowers, as blue as the feathers in the hair of the doll, as blue as the feathers of the bird who cries, "Jay, Jay, Jay." When people came out of their teepees, they could scarcely believe their eyes. They gathered on the hill with she who is alone to look at the miraculous sight. There was no doubt about it. The flowers were a sign of forgiveness from the Great Spirits. And as the people sang, she danced their thanks to the Great Spirits. A warm rain began to fall, and the land began to live again. From that day on, the girl who was known by another name, one who dearly loved her people. And every spring, the great spirits remember the sacrifice of the little girl and fill the hills and valleys of the land now called Texas with the beautiful blue flowers, even to this very day. Thank you for joining me today as we read the legend of the Blue Bonnet here at Camp Tom Wooten in Bastrop, Texas. We hope that you will come and visit us soon at our beautiful camp here in Bastrop, and visit us at our website at bsacac.org and look for camping and activity opportunities for your Cub Scouts and your families. See y'all soon.